Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the GrindWorks podcast. Before we get started with this episode, I want to bring your attention to our website where we currently have pegs at 25% off and the shirts are 50% off. Uh, we're going to carry that deal through the end of the year, and then we're going to be closing the web store for a little while we change some things over and uh, update a couple things. So that might be down for a little while. If you're looking at picking anything up, definitely get it now. Um, Moving into this episode, it's going to be episode 66, and it's with James Yusczyk. And we recorded this at an apartment that I was staying the night in while I was in Pittsburgh for work. So audio may be a little bit choppy, but I think it'll be all right. So let's get into it.
Great
Now,
question.
now that's going to annoy you.
No, I was actually looking at that photo earlier, wondering the same thing.
Okay.
Like, actually, the way it's kind of like segmented, at first I thought it was a puzzle that was glued together and then matted,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, GrindWorks podcast episode 66.
Woo.
With confidence.
With confidence. All right.
Unless it's not.
Now you're taking a photo of that to give context.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a context for... should I take it off center? Yes.
Yes. Diagonal too. Why not?
Oh, no, it's cattywampus. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That's good. So, James Yusczyk, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, two in
It
a
seems
row.
like it's been a while, but it really has been about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
12 if we're being specific.
Nice. Okay.
So last time we were talking about the BMX sales cycle
Yeah.
and BMX pricing and all sorts of stuff. And then
why things just don't make sense.
we really jumped right into that and never got into the, hey, James, it's been a while since you've been on. How's life treating you?
Well.
Conversation.
All right. So.
Where were we at last time? I was still living in Lower Borough.
Yes.
And
Had
I think I had announced that I was moving.
Had I broken the 2 discs in my back yet?
No.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, no, that was 2021 fall, I think.
It was like right after I moved.
Yeah. All right. So, updates on that. How do we want to start playing? So, yeah.
Let's pretend you've never been on before for the new listeners, and not start the like how did you start riding conversation.
Yeah.
But a little bit of context. We've known each other for a handful of years.
Yeah. So I will just touch back on like the beginning for just a second, but I started working at Extreme Wheels Indoor Skate Park in Buffalo, New York at 11 years old, under the table cash. Worked there until 18, came back on 19, 20, met a bunch of people, started traveling around. Met you, was it Legends of Binghamton or 21st Birthday, FBM?
Legends of Binghamton.
Okay, Legends of Binghamton. That was the first time, and it was kind of in passing. Like, we got there the day before, helped set up. It was Jack Hartjay, myself, Dylan Pierce. I think Alex Pierce was on that trip too. And then,
Yeah, he was.
yeah, moved around, went to Florida for a year, came back when my dad had back surgery. I was pretty close to where Andy was stationed in, well, where you grew up in Binghamton, not where you were living in Pittsburgh already.
Yep.
And there was the Binghamton contest and the Pittsburgh contest. I decided I was going to come up and help out. You offered up your place to crash at, well, your parents' place to crash at. We hung out for like a week building crap, and then did that for a couple years in a row. You got me a job out here in Pittsburgh and moved out here, traveled. And I think, yeah, the last podcast, I'd already left working for the initial company, started working for another one. COVID happened, started working up in Buffalo again at a bike shop doing
Yeah.
the overstock thing with Kevin
That
Zuba.
might have been where we left off.
Yeah, I think so. So got a call back from the job that now that the COVID layoff was off, came back to Pittsburgh. Met Reagan, my wife, while I was still in Buffalo.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. Spoiler alert. We'll get into that story. It's a pretty quick and easy one. But yeah, met her while I was still going back and forth to Buffalo. Got her a job with me because she didn't want to work with family anymore. Funny loop around coming there. Because she was running the books and everything.
Yep.
So got her a job with me at a place that makes radiation detectors. And then, yeah, so that right about maybe a year after that, Kevin, Zuba, Josh, a couple people were down here in Pittsburgh. I was riding with them. I was trying to get Kevin to do his first hubba. It's like, come on, it's easy. I did a feeble down the hubba at Boyce. Missed my back peg, did a pedal slide, and it was on the slippery side of my pedal, and it was waxed all to hell, looped out in a pedal ice, caught the last 2 steps with my spine, and was bedridden for like 3 months. Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
I think I said something along the lines of like, "That's not how you do a feeble."
I remember in pain laughing at that. Dude, that was the best back crack I ever got. And then I stood up and was like, this sucks.
It was the best back crack you ever got.
Dude, it went all the way up. It only messed up the bottom too, like the one right off the tailbone, the disc right off the tailbone, and the one above that.
So that was like all sorts you compressed your spine and fractured it and like a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah. It was 2 blown discs, 3 fractures. Basically the wings that come off your vertebrae. Just the vertebrae right above my tailbone, both of those fractured. And then the one above that, only the left side fractured. So that also ended up pinching like the nerves that come out, like out of your discs. So there was that issue too. So that was fun. Took a little bit to get back up on my feet, even trying to ride or anything. And then the following year, I cracked my elbow, but that was after I had left the radiation detector job and started working for Reagan's dad. So She got away from family. I got back into it. But yeah, it's a metalworking job. I got hired because I know how to run a water jet and program a water jet and have basic, mechanical ability. Started welding a little bit more than the little bit that I did at Extreme Wheels, and running vertical lathes and punch presses, press brake shears, the water jet, hydro pressure testing, filling in for the truck driver here and there. Just, like, they give me the laborer title so they can put me anywhere, basically.
I like the concept of basic mechanical ability as someone that rides bikes and works on their own bike.
Yeah.
I think you are inherently, if you can work on your own bicycle, leaps and bounds ahead of the average person that says they have mechanical ability.
Yeah, I mean, if you can tension a wheel and like lace a rim, like just that concept goes over so many people's heads who know how to turn a wrench.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because tight, loose, that's all they understand.
Yeah. And also I built like a greenhouse for their family because they were trying to save money. So we took some pallet wood from work and built a cheap little greenhouse and stuff like that. So he saw, I even improved on his initial drawings. I'm like, dude, you're used to working with metal. This is wood. You're going to want bracing here, 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 here. Oh, build it how I said. And then once I built it like that, I took my pinky and pushed it over sideways. Like, you sure you don't want that bracing? It's like, okay. So he saw that and was like, hey, come on. And I'm like, I don't really want to work for possibly future family. And that conversation happened like 4 times before I finally was like, okay, it makes sense. Yeah, let's just do it. So there was that. And then, yeah, about 6 months after starting that job, I broke my elbow at Boyce again. I just need to stay away from Boyce. And, fractured it. It wasn't like broke. We're still going to work because we don't offer short-term disability. So
that, as odd as it sounds, I mean, I know so many people that would put them out of work completely for a very, very long period of time.
Yeah.
But in our world, it's like, man, I might not even tell my employer that I'm injured.
Exactly.
Like I'm going to wince a little bit when I do stuff, and I'm going to favor the other arm, but like...
Well, at that time,
it's not their fault that I'm stupid.
Yeah, exactly. And at that time, the shop I usually work at that does most of the heat exchangers was a little bit slow. So they put me over in the sheet metal shop just like a month before that. So that one was easy because that was all MIG welding. So I just took my arm in the sling and just put the MIG welder over the arm and sling as a hold and just, up, down, side to side, whatever, grinding. I mean, that's the one time I ever used a handle on a grinder. Just keep that out of the way a little bit. But it really wasn't bad. And I was actually happy to keep working because even short-term disability, what does that guarantee you, a third of your income?
It's like 60% maybe.
Okay.
But it feels like a third.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, yeah, Reagan and I've just been doing that job. Reagan started college. Went back to college, I should say. She's going for accounting and business management, which may line up with some future plans that I'm not quite sure if we'll get into. But, yeah, I was going to do a lot of stuff by myself, and now she's taking over that side. So I'm like, never mind. Cool, that's good. She wants to have her own accounting firm and everything, so I would just basically be a client of hers.
Sweet.
Yeah. So right now I'm the breadwinner, and eventually then I'll be the sugar baby. When she starts making way more than me. But yeah, so she just turned 26, I'm 29, and that's where the marriage thing comes in. Because I already had the ring on the way. I was like, I am going to propose. And she started freaking out about losing her insurance, which is something I didn't think about because I lost my insurance when I was 18.
Yeah, I did too. It was before they forced employers to carry it for their college age kids up to 26 or something.
Mine was after. I just didn't know.
Sick.
Yeah. And my dad's on TRICARE, so it would have just been free.
Perfect.
Yeah. But no, so I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh crap, well that's the thing. And it kept coming up, and eventually at some point, as I ordered a custom ring, I'm like, hey, it's going to be here in 2 weeks. Do you want to just go to the courthouse and just get this done?
Yeah.
And she didn't even know. Oh, wait, really? I'm like, yeah. Do you just want to get it done and over with? Because I was already planning on proposing, but if this is, it's going to be such a deadline. I think the ring was going to come a week after her birthday.
Well, you guys have been together 4 years or so now?
Yeah, since August.
So it's not like it's crazy.
Yeah, it was August 2020 that we started dating, and yeah, just this past May 22nd is when we signed the papers, basically, this courthouse thing.
Woohoo!
Woo! Yeah, no, we're still going to file taxes separately because you get more money, but
there's perks either way.
Yeah.
We do ours combined, but I don't know if that's going to change this year or not.
Yeah.
With different stuff going on.
Yeah. But yeah, we're planning on having a real wedding She initially said this upcoming year, but I think it's going to get pushed back another year. Like not like just a party, basically. Like, okay, we'll have the ceremony for funsies, but it's more so a reception.
Yeah, well, and you ought to be able to dial it way back cost-wise at that point, too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, her family, she's got a larger immediate family, but she's new to she moved up from Beaumont, Texas around the same time that I moved to Pittsburgh, actually. So, as far as a friend group, she hasn't really established it. And with BMX, like, I don't have much immediate family, but the BMX family is going to show up in force, you know?
Yep. All right, so I got some questions for you. I'm sure you've gotten these a million times already, but I think it's important for people listening that might be in a similar situation, or just thinking that they want to go that route as far as getting married goes. How does the family take it? Hers first, because the girl's family typically has a vision.
Yes. Okay. So, they're totally on board with the. You take that?
No.
Okay. Well, they're totally on board. They understand the situation and stipulations. The one thing I was kind of upset about was, which not really upset, but just kind of like, really? You're supposed to ask the father for, I'd like to have your daughter's hand in marriage and everything. And I should have been clear with Reagan about like, hey, don't say anything. I want to talk to them first. But she went and blabbed immediately. And I was like, oh, I kind of missed out on that part. But no, they're totally understanding. They want the same thing. Her mom does want it to be a little bit more extravagant and invite all the cousins that Reagan hasn't known since she was like 4. And Reagan's like, I don't want strangers, basically.
Well, yes. And I can say from when we did ours, my mom wanted to invite everybody. Like everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if we invite this person, we have to invite that person. And it's like, no, you don't.
Yes.
You don't.
Yeah.
Like, if I couldn't pick that person out of a lineup, if you told me they were there.
Yeah. Yeah,
they don't need to be there. Like, because from an event and venue standpoint, you're going to be paying about $130 to $150 a head by the time you feed them, get dessert, have the venue itself, have decorations, all the stuff. Roughly that, maybe even higher.
Yeah.
But then people come and, it is what it is, but they leave a $50 check.
Yeah.
And yes, did I want to celebrate with you? Absolutely. I'm glad you came. But also, if these other people are coming and it's costing me more money than it's worth to have a party with people I don't care if are there or not,
yes.
Now you see why I'm frustrated.
Yeah, and it took some... I keep my nose out of stuff between her mom and or whatever.
Yep.
And let her kind of deal with it. Because, it's your mom. She knows how to deal with it a little bit better than I would. So,
yeah,
it took a little bit of convincing on Reagan's end for her mom to get that. But otherwise, they all have the same idea. And my dad's just like, hey, whatever you do, Jen and I are in.
I figured that your dad in particular, didn't care either way that you handled it.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's excited for it and he gets it too. Like, we had a long conversation about it, but as far as the wedding goes, he's just like, whatever you can put together, I'll show up. Like, okay, fair enough.
Thank you for showing up.
I mean, I'm sure he'll do more. He's like, well, what do you guys... They did ask what we wanted and everything. And I'm like, it's too soon for me to tell you what the hell I want.
Right.
Just give me a little bit on that. But, I mean, they did offer and all that. It's not like it's just, I'll be there. But
maybe you can renovate a bathroom for him before
Dude,
you go.
it's been 2 years. He still doesn't have that damn glass door on. I swear to God.
Well, you better go visit.
He finally put the tile down though, so that's something. But he still doesn't have that damn glass door on. I'm like, I left you the easiest part. Which, speaking of him, he just a month and a half ago had a pacemaker put in, and then just told me today that he had a blood clot, but it was superficial and wasn't like in a bad spot. Like, nice,
cool.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, just wanted to let you know last Tuesday. I'm like, last Tuesday? You're just now getting... Okay, Dad, whatever. Like, I'll stop up and make sure you're okay and chat with you and everything. And I'll call you tomorrow. But...
Funny.
Yeah, so he's doing all right. That's good. But... yeah, no, on the marriage front, everything's good. Her... little sister is damn near moving in with us at this point. Like, not actually, but she's visiting a lot, which I get it. You know, it's the family, and they've been a unit. Like, people didn't start moving out until last year.
Yeah.
Like, the oldest sibling, like my sister-in-law, older one, is my age.
Well, and I mean, you guys moved out, and not crazy. I mean, you've been on your own on and off for years.
Yeah.
When we moved out, Rachel and I mean, the only moving out she'd ever done is that she kind of just fell in moving in at my parents' house.
Yeah.
But when we both moved to Pittsburgh, was our first apartment we've ever had away from mommy and daddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hell, I went to Florida and back.
That was a pretty big play. Yours was a pretty big play.
Yeah.
But, you know, you guys are across town.
Yeah, it's a half-hour drive, if that.
But you went from 5 minutes from work to 45 minutes from work.
Yeah, but I went from an hour to work to 5 minutes to work to... In the morning, it's 25 minutes because I also go like 90 the whole way.
Yeah,
but
allegedly.
But at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., whenever I get out, it's 35, 40 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting thing. What's your take on a longer drive?
I personally, other than the wear and tear on your car and all those things, I personally love it. Time to listen to podcasts, time to just sit in silence and kind of think about things.
I'm on board with that. I think I said it when I moved to Lower Burl.
Yeah.
That I hated it.
Yep.
That I was so close that you never had decompression time.
Yeah.
And then... you know, I'll get into this in a future episode a little bit more, but like I was working about 30 minutes away from my parents' house up in New York.
Yeah.
To 5 minutes away from my parents' house to moving 10 minutes away from the office to working from home.
Yeah. With a child.
Working from home.
With a, like, at the age where he can actually be a menace, too.
Working from home.
I love Ryder, but he's at the playful age where it's like, he's just trying to have fun, but he can be a menace and doesn't realize that you're, like, daddy trying to work.
And he's like a chaotic clinical ADHD case.
Yes.
Like medically diagnosed nightmare.
Super fun when you don't have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like when you're not trying to work.
No, you know what though? It really wasn't. It wasn't even fair to him as a child.
Yeah.
Because before we got him diagnosed and got him on some medication, I could take him to the science center.
Yeah.
We'd be there for 2 hours, and he wouldn't play with a single thing there.
Really?
he would, I want to go see this, I want to go see this, I want to go see this, I want to look at this, I want to touch this, I want to go over here, I want to see this, I want to do this, I want to play with that, I want to go over here, I want to go through this tunnel, I want to play with that. Never
stopped
and actually played with anything.
Okay, yeah.
And one of the first things we did after we got him on some medication was we took him up there and he's like, I want to go play with this. And then spent 20 minutes in one area playing with the different things in there.
Yeah.
And then, can we go check this other area? And I'm like, oh my God, you're a normal child. You can actually enjoy this. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, rather than being stressed out about doing everything at such a young age.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was a ping pong ball.
Yeah.
Not even. He was a pinball between bumpers.
He really, like, yeah. I've seen it.
So, like, I was very happy with that. And we were very reluctant going into that.
Yeah, because
like,
you hear horror stories.
Well, yeah, I mean, you hear that kids become, like, medical zombies. But it's because I think that was the earlier phases of, like, trying medicines and trying to figure out what doses do you even give a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's all trial and error.
And I think you've got two mindsets. One is, well, we know this amount will work.
Yeah.
And then there's well, let's start with this and see if you get any results.
The two mindsets are almost the very old school of children should be seen and not heard. Like, turn them into a zombie, that's the best option. And let's give this kid a chance to actually be a normal kid.
Well, and one of the mindsets, like the doctor that we've been going to, he said this shouldn't be something he has to be on forever.
Yeah.
But right now, he's got a million things going on in his brain, and you're trying to give him tools and a lifeline, and there's no room for those tools.
Yeah.
So you have to teach him, like, give him this, let it clear a little bit out.
Yeah.
Give him these tools. Teach him how to use them.
Teach him how to cope,
and then
basically.
you may not need the medicine anymore.
Yeah.
Because once he has the coping skills and knows how to use the tools,
yeah,
they're there.
Yeah.
But they have to be used frequently.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. But anyway.
Well, I mean, that kind of segues into a little bit of, so Reagan's still in college. She wants to finish out what she's doing. She's also got 2 more years on her current birth control. We keep tossing the idea up of kids. And her and I are in very much agreement of, we both have very dead set plans. And if we have the option to not have an oopsie, let's take advantage of it and get sorted in what we want to do, and at least started maybe a couple years even into it. So you have the ball rolling and there's some sort of routine and everything before we say, because she's 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of time.
Sure.
You know, like if she's 26, there's time.
You can take either approach to that. I mean, once you have a set routine,
I mean, it gets
just
disrupted.
well, it's just totally going to change.
Yeah.
So, like, if you've built what you want and then have the child, you're not going to get back where you were.
Yeah. At least not
so
for
if
some
you get
time.
to a point where you're ready to start building something
And try to do it all at the same time.
and then do it there, might be the best option, because your schooling will be taken care of.
Yeah.
You can then craft the life that
It needs to be.
Yeah, that it needs to be, and that works for you without really knowing the other side.
Yes. And those are the two, when I said we've kind of been going back and forth on it, those are the two ping pongs that we've been volleying.
For like Rachel and I was rather indifferent to the idea either way. If you want a kid, great. If you don't want a kid, great. I'm cool.
That's kind of where we're at too, because she goes back and forth on even wanting one.
Then you may want to really heavily consider that as a, sidebar quick.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want one, and it's only like a meh, it would be cool sometimes. You can't turn them off. You don't get rid of them.
She wants one. What happens with her is she gets into the rabbit holes of just the American healthcare system and seeing how bad things can go for women giving birth. And she still wants the kid, but she's scared.
Oh yeah.
Which is
that's fair.
Yeah, and it's fair. It's just waiting. Like, she definitely wants a kid.
Okay, so it's not indifference. Like, yours may be indifference. Mine was total indifference.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. Like, it'd be cool.
Like,
but...
I'm fine if I never had one.
Yeah. I mean,
but I'm also happy that I do.
Yeah.
So it's weird in that sense, but for her, like, she ultimately did want one.
Yeah.
And was working full time, and then, allegedly the company she was working for just didn't want to pay her maternity leave and found a reason to fire her.
Yeah.
And then because they were newly taken over by a different bank.
Yeah.
And then they had multiple courses of action they could have taken for her drawer came up short in some way. They knew she didn't take it.
Yeah.
But where, if you can't reconcile the till, and I don't know, it was like a fair amount, but like, okay, well, you can either dock it from pay and have a way that you repay it.
Yeah. Or
you write the person up.
Yeah.
Or if this is like a serious thing, then you fire them. But like, because they were newly acquired and she was pregnant, 3 months out from maternity leave, they made an example of her.
Yeah.
So she got a different job at another bank. They were super happy with her, and they're like, oh, by the way, like, we can't hold your position. You haven't been here long enough.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, after your maternity leave, when you decide to come back, you will have to reapply. Like, we'll hire you back.
Yeah.
But you'll have to reapply. And she's just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a total lifestyle change for her. And then she took 5 years off working.
Yeah.
Which we were fortunate enough that I was able to float that for her.
Yeah.
She, in some ways, hated.
Oh, yeah.
That she was home with the child.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah, and you don't have any friends at that point.
There are great memories that you have being home, and it's a luxury when it's afforded to you.
Yeah.
But it is a lot for one person to take on as a full-time role.
Yeah.
So, like, she doesn't love that she did full-time mom for 5 years.
Yeah, understandable.
So,
I mean, I was around for some of that too, like in and out when I was traveling for work.
Yeah.
And really, when you're doing that full time, it's like, you might meet a couple moms here and there, like at the park with the kid.
You're in moms groups, but that's about it.
Yeah, and at a certain point, you're almost like, I'm so done with mom. Like, when you are...
So, her term is touched out.
Okay,
like, at the end of the day, like, I just... Like, even now, working full-time, about 7 o'clock, it is time for him to go to bed.
Yeah.
You need to start getting ready for bed. And I don't think it helps that she works at a school.
Yeah, where she's around more kids.
So she's around a lot more kids all around his age all day.
Yeah.
But just the constant, like, child thing, she's just over it by the time bedtime comes around. It's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't be touched right now. Like,
yeah.
Leave me alone. Don't come near me anymore.
Yeah.
And I totally understand.
Yeah, that's the hour of driving to work. Like that touch out time.
Yeah, right. And she's got 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But even that, I think it's like, if it's not kids, like work should be something different than what you're going home to.
Yeah.
And I know she loves working at the school. So like that's not a bad thing. It's just
it'll be different when he's 13, 14 and she's still working with if she's still working with the kids that are his current age. You know what I mean? Like if she moves up the ranks with them.
Oh, no, I think she'll. Well, I'm not so sure right now because she just said that so she's like the secretary for the principal.
Okay, yeah.
And she was doing playground and recess monitor. Or recess and lunch monitor.
Okay, yeah.
And now they were like, hey, we need a full-time secretary, and like you're the only one that keeps the notes and everything and like keeps up on all this stuff. So we really want you to take this role. Plus it pays a little more, it's full-time.
That would be
So that's what they moved her into.
okay. All right.
And then the principal just turned in her notice. She was out on maternity leave.
Yeah.
Came back and is now like, this is too much. Like
the same situation. Yeah. Just from the. Yeah.
So I don't know if she knows, like, if you don't know what kind of next principal you're gonna get, and you could have just someone that wants to come in and, well, you guys always did it this way and we're gonna do it this way.
Yeah.
So you can have some just weirdness, and I don't know, you never really know where that goes from there.
Yeah, I mean that's a full like top-down management change. So
yeah,
and being the secretary to the principal, it's nerve-wracking.
But she's only done it for a year and a half.
You think she can float back into the other position if she doesn't quite like being the full-time secretary?
I think she enjoys what she's doing.
Okay.
I think even if it wasn't there, whether it's that school or a different one, I think there's positions she could take.
Okay.
But I took her health insurance now because it's through the school.
Yeah.
And, this health insurance is great for my job when I was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It was the best health insurance I've ever had.
Still UPMC?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I got now.
It was the best health insurance I've ever had.
Yeah.
And then I moved away.
Yeah.
And it's like the worst health insurance ever when you don't live here.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's what you're saying is kind of part of the reason why we were talking about, at least waiting for her to get school done with. That's the earliest is when school is done with.
Maybe 6 months before.
Well, because she's attempting to, or not attempt, her goal is her own accounting firm, basically. And she's going to go to school for like the whole, and she's in her second year.
Yeah.
So basically she just wants to be her own boss. And at that point, there's no one to let you go from maternity leave. Just like I can go on hiatus, currently I can still cover all the bills with just my paycheck.
So, okay, you've got accounting, like the coursework of accounting.
Yes.
Then you have business accounting.
Yes.
When you work somewhere and you do their books. And then you have an accounting firm.
Well, she's wanting to be a tax accountant is what she keeps saying.
So CPA.
So it's kind of sort of seasonal, and then just pick up a couple business ones too, because she's majoring accounting, minor business management.
Right. So has she or does she plan on working for a tax firm before starting her own business?
Yes.
To learn the ropes of that.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's not just going to stay working at the plant
So,
nursery.
I mean, that's like a 1 or 2 years that you got to work somewhere like that before you really learn the ropes of it, even if not longer.
Yeah, well, that's why we're thinking at least get her out of school, get her a little bit far enough into working for this firm or whatever
Mhm.
to where she won't get canned like that for maternity leave. And then, just play the process, and then whenever she can, get up and start her own thing.
I would file the paperwork for it as soon as you can,
Yeah,
and then you've got it.
yeah. Even if you're not using it, you got it.
Yeah, and then you can slowly build your assets and stuff too. Like, maybe you start it, and then you're gonna buy a new computer. Well, I'm gonna buy this for the business.
On the business card, keep all the receipts in one spot.
And there's a little bit of, see, you can buy anything you want under the business.
Yeah.
The trick is whether it's a write-off or not.
Yeah.
But maybe only a portion of it's a write-off because it's only 20% of it's going to be attributed to the business, and it's also a personal computer.
Yeah.
Again, she's going to be a person that can make those determinations.
Yeah.
But would also make sense for someone else to do her books for her.
Yes. That's kind of, we've been leading into like, hey, not going to, the more she gets into it, the more she's like, I can't do this on my own. I'm like, cool, because with what I want to do, I'm glad you're getting into that, because that takes that off of me. Because I ran the books a little bit and everything when I worked at Extreme Wheels. We had a skate shop and a bike shop and the snack bar.
Yeah.
So, like, I've done it. Am I great at it? No. Did I know how to do the taxes for it? No. They hired H&R Block or somebody to do that. But, like, I made sure all the money was where it needed to be.
Did you guys, so you may not necessarily know, did you manage on cash basis accounting or credits and debits?
Pretty sure everything that I touched was always cash.
Well, so the difference would be cash basis accounting is the actual money coming in and leaving. So if I write a check, then that money goes out now.
Oh yeah, if we didn't have the money coming in the door.
If I have a net 30 account,
yeah.
So the difference would be on like net payment terms. If you're buying something from a vendor and you have 30 days to pay them, when that invoice comes in, on cash basis accounting, you would do nothing for 30 days. On credits and debits, you would show the negative the day the invoice came in, which really gives you a better picture in the long run of, are you up or are you down, and are you gonna be in trouble?
Yeah.
Whereas cash basis, I've got $700 in the account, everything is great, and you're ignoring the fact that you've got a $2,000 bill due in 3 days.
Yeah. So, mind you, I was, a teenager, literal, like started at 11, didn't start touching books and stuff like that till like 15, 16. They did everything. If we didn't have the money to buy it outright right then and there, we weren't buying it.
So it doesn't matter. It's cash basis.
Yeah. They were straight up basically using a debit card.
So cash basis accounting is the simple version.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people start out with.
Yeah.
It's what I am utilizing with GrindWorks and Uptime, which doesn't exist.
I was about to say, are you?
No, I'm not going to get into it on this.
Okay.
People will figure it out. I'll talk about it later. But I'm using cash basis because it's periodic, it's here and there, and it's basically being subsidized by my own income anyway.
Yeah.
So
you're not having regular enough payments to really
at some
utilize.
point, I need to learn a little bit more about how you utilize the credits.
Credits. New word.
Credits and debits.
New word. Define.
Credits and debits system and how it equates to things, because credit doesn't necessarily mean money in.
Yeah.
And debit doesn't necessarily mean money out.
Yeah.
And then there's a counter for each one. There's the when it adds into the books, and then like where did it come from and when does it leave, and
yeah, and then statement. Yeah,
it gets weird.
Yeah,
and I don't understand it enough to want to be trying to do it. I just need to track what I'm doing.
I knew what I was doing was very basic and like very beginner level, and especially for a skate park that ran as long as that one did, should not have been running like that. But I was a teenager and didn't know any better. I was just going off what they were doing.
If you're running a business on equity instead of debt, I don't know that it matters as much.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were able to keep it going for a while until Virginia and them left, which she reached out to me recently over Messenger, so that's a fun one.
Okay.
She was the manager of the place, but yeah, they like just dipped out overnight, disappeared. I heard a ton of stories. She's claiming they weren't true. That's a story for a different time, maybe a different one, but
maybe we should best say not your story to tell.
Yes, exactly.
I'll hear it.
Yeah,
but
definitely
from
should not go up on there.
Standpoint, not your story to tell.
Yeah, not on there. But yeah,
as much as 25 of the 50 listeners would love to hear the details.
Yeah, but no. It really isn't my story to tell at all. But it just how they ran it. That's just how they always kept it going. And then Bill came in, the owner of the actual building, after they left, and tried but siphoned more money out for vacations to Florida than he put back into it. And then we were putting our own paychecks back into it. So it was running good for a little bit until it got screwed up.
Well, most skate parks get screwed up for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Half the time it's because people don't want to charge their friends.
Yep. That was starting to happen, but we put a stop to it.
It's a tough one. Or you come up with a workaround where, well, I'm going to charge you. I need you to sweep for a half hour before you can ride. And then 7 people show up and all hold brooms around the corner for 30 minutes and no one actually sweeps or cleans.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone expects to ride for free. And you're like, dude, that was a one-time deal for you.
Yeah.
You don't really know what you're trying to pull here.
Yeah. That happened a lot too. When I first started, heck, they had me doing that sometimes. When I first started, that's how they brought me on. And then they realized, oh, he actually sweeps. We're going to keep him on.
Yeah.
Like, actually pay him. But, yeah.
But that's the downfall. That costs. I mean, when I would watch HCS for Derek, there were times I would cut people deals. But my deal for people was always, okay, if I know you're the broke one, I'll give you $1 off admission for each paying customer you bring with you.
Yeah,
So one dude shows up and brings 6 friends so he can ride for free. Plus, by the way, don't tell anyone what we're doing. Just tell them we're going. You're going, Yeah, I'll cut you that deal all day, every day.
Yeah, brings so much more in, yeah.
Right, because those kids weren't coming.
Yeah, they wouldn't have unless you were like, hey, there's a session, I'm bringing a camera. Then that's your sneaky way. That's a good way to do it if you're going to help somebody out. Like, you need to actually make it worth it and make your money out of it.
Right. I mean, you could do it in a less extreme way and go, hey, you bring 2 paying customers with you, I'll give you yours for free.
Yeah.
Be reasonable.
Yeah.
But
in today's day and age where people can't meet up as easy, yes, of course.
But they had a full crew always, so it was it was easy.
But yeah, she's looking at that, and I'm just trying to stock inventory and stuff for more so tools and equipment for what I'm doing. And we got a water break.
Yeah, well, you started into that. I'm like, oh, cool. He's going to talk about it for a second, and then didn't.
Well,
so okay. I mean, you don't.
No,
you
I
can
can
just tell
totally-
me no if you don't want to talk about it. But
no, I can totally tell you.
What are you leaning towards? What direction are you trying to take? What do you want to do?
So, this is taking inspiration from a couple different places that I've been to. Derek's a big inspiration for sure with HCS. But since I used to run a skate shop, bike shop, all that stuff, and then have gotten recently into like the 3D printing, screen printing. Should be getting a vinyl cutter here soon to make the screen printing easier. Basically, I'm looking at starting small and just selling little merchandise items, maybe doing some bike repairs on the side. But the end goal is a bike, skate, and just kind of random, like artsy tinkering, selling whatever the hell I decide to make. And maybe if I can do a small little greenhouse like I did for Reagan's dad. Just a small little plant thing just because Reagan and I like that stuff. But basically a bike shop, skate shop, a little bit of apparel, a little bit of the fun stuff. And
kind of an odds and ends DIY hub.
Yeah.
Kinds of thing.
And Reagan and I are both big into the music scene. I mean, Extreme Wheels had tons of concerts, 3-4 a week, which kind of got me into it. We've been going to music festivals like Sonic Temple and Louder Than Life and all these different concerts. So it'd be cool to have like kind of a little DIY stage out back, maybe even offer like for the local bands, like, hey, like I know a lot of venues like, hey, for the local bands, there's a stage rental. Like, hey, heavily discounted stage rental if you help clean up afterwards. Worst case scenario, I get a free show and they get to play.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you could even maybe do it as a membership.
Yeah.
Something or other like that. Like you're in and can do this up to 4 times a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Or do them like open mics where it's like,
just show up.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Like we've got from this time to this time, we'll kind of book you based on how many people show up.
That's kind of my thought for the weekends, like Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to come during the week, just when you have to deal with like waking up early the next day and everything, that's when there might be some sort of like deal worked out, but nothing like seriously, like I say, the worst case scenario for me, I get a free show out of it, but I'd rather not have to clean up too, with only being a 2-man show or 1 or 2-man show.
Yeah.
So, but
that's what temp work is for. If you're making enough money off of it, hire from the temp agency a guy every Saturday to show up and whatever, you got 6 hours of cleanup work and you do all the grounds or something.
Yeah. So
might be worth it.
We've been kind of talking about that. Like I said, we've been getting to the gardening and like house plant thing too. So we came up with a name and it's my Wi-Fi at the house, like the name for the Wi-Fi. But looks like I kind of want to wait till after the election and see what's going on. But the LLC, when we start it, is going to be called Stems and Sprockets for plants and bikes. And I mean, worst case scenario, if the plant thing doesn't, take off, then it's still bikes and bikes. Who cares?
Yeah.
So we're kind of leaving it open as far as that goes. But yeah, just a DIY hub, have clinics like, hey, you want to learn how to work on your bike, you're not making so much or whatever. Hey, gardening clinic, like here's how you fix a plant that's infested with gnats or some crap. I don't know, like just little teaching things here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3D print.
I like it.
Make our own clothing. And then now that I'm into metalwork, see what I can get into when it comes to bike parts or just architectural, fun stuff. You need a hand railing or something, kind of like what Derek's doing, like a little side work for the slow months.
I think you'll be all over it. You're in a good area for that type of stuff. That phone number is calling me again.
You take that?
I don't think so. You know how you
Google it?
No. You know how you can look at a voicemail and it'll show you?
Oh, do you actually have a voicemail from him? That's a long voicemail.
Oh, no. It's a advertisement for...
Voting?
Yeah.
Sick. That's funny that we were just talking about waiting until after the election. But yeah, it's a really good spot for it. And also something like how I've been to over half of the states in the country, and Reagan's taking more of an interest on traveling. And if she ends up being a tax accountant, then she's almost seasonal. Kind of.
The only other thing that makes sense that she's probably not thinking about is that CPAs often act as registered agents for their clients.
Yes.
In which case they are expected to be at their office 9 to 5 every day in case their client gets served.
Ooh. Yeah, so we might have to talk about that. Figure that one out.
So being a registered agent, I mean, there's money that gets paid to you for just being
there. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what the total logistics of that are, but like, heck, you might make a decent living to sit home and play video games every day if you could be a registered agent and that's all your purpose was.
And that's part of what we've been talking about, is like, I want to do this just more so out of a labor of love. I'm not expecting any real money out of it. I'm expecting to live.
I would say, without trying to squash any little subsection of that, I would break it into the must-haves.
Yes.
And the would like tos.
Oh no, I've already done that. The bike and skate and
do
apparel.
a real business plan.
Yes.
If you're gonna do an LLC, you need articles of organization. I'm not necessarily advocating for this, but I'm advocating for this. Just go through a company that you pay
and have them
to set up your LLC.
Yeah.
Because they're going to check all the boxes. I don't think PA is as difficult as New York.
Yeah.
But New York requires the articles to be filed, which is easy. Your EIN to be filed, which is easy. That's like, you could do all that stuff without any help.
Yeah.
But New York also requires 6 weeks of consecutive publication in one type of magazine and 4 weeks of daily publication in another type of newspaper.
Yeah.
And then you need proof of publication submitted to the state or your LLC is not valid. And I'm like, for one fixed price, you'll do all that?
Yeah.
Deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely, and we've spoken about that before, so it's good for the podcast to hear it. But yeah, that's already in my head for that. And yeah, I already have the must-have, like the little mini plant nursery. Would like the stage in the back eventually. Well, stuff like that.
So the reason I say that also is sometimes they make sense to be separate ventures.
Yes.
Like
the
even down to
stuff.
So like I've been talking to John, and I think, and my opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But he should have JC Metalworks should own all the equipment.
Yeah.
And it should be leased to Work BMX.
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that, and that's great.
Because he can have full ownership of his equipment. And if he wanted to bring a partner or something in on the brand, he can.
Yeah.
and it doesn't impact
Yeah, there's no
everything
risk
he's
of
worked
losing.
for and built.
Yeah, there's no risk of losing your equipment
Or
because you're
if
bringing them
work
in on
gets
work.
sued because a frame snaps in half and some kid gets hurt, which will never happen because work frame.
Yeah.
But, if something happens and they get sued, his equipment is then protected because
It's owned by the separate
it's
entity.
owned by a separate entity.
Yes. That's definitely something that we've been, pretty much
But
Stems
even
and
the
Sprockets
different
is a
ventures,
storefront.
right? Like your stem side, if you were doing plants and stuff,
Yeah.
it's different NICS codes from the way you file. It's different in the way that you might organize your invoicing structure and the way that you purchase raw goods,
Yeah.
the way you manage inventory. Like everything about that side might be completely different than the bike shop side, might be completely different than the 3D printing and metal fabrication side,
Yeah.
which could all be sub LLCs of your primary stems and sprockets.
Yeah.
That might just be like the parent conglomerate holding company, and then you've got this little offshoot.
Yes.
And that way, if someone comes in and they're like, I love the little nursery that you're doing, I'd like to buy you out on it, you could sell that division because it's kept separate books. It's not intermixed.
Yeah.
And you're just good to go.
Yeah. That's after we were speaking about it last time, that's something that I've been looking into. I'm still working on the names for all the little subdivisions, but I know all the equipment be owned by parent company that's separate from the actual storefront and everything.
Or it may not even be that. You might have yet another one. The problem is you're going to have to pay on repeat to file these. And there's annual or biennial renewals that will come up, and you'll complicate your taxes a little bit, but you're going to have someone to manage that.
Yeah.
So maybe not a huge deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, you may have a parent company just to hold them, and then have a company that holds all the equipment.
Yeah.
A company that holds the real estate. A company that's this. A company that's that. And it all depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah. Like I said, basically your typical bike and skate shop with, the little bit of apparel, pads, accessories, all those things. That is the main venture. Everything else is just if I have time, if we can figure it out, and it all stem off. So I won't have the super huge upfront. I'm not going to try to get the side metalwork and all that. I'm not going to try to get that up at the same time as I get everything else up. That'll just be okay, now that we can kind of afford to move forward with this, boom, new one.
Well, and sometimes it's that a job pushes you in that direction too, or a customer pushes you in that direction.
Yeah.
One of the things, and I didn't take this well in the moment, but I was taking an entrepreneurship class on how to set up a business. And I started taking that in 2021 when I moved back to New York. And I hated that class. It was through the college.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're not telling me what I need to know.
Yeah.
And I didn't give it long enough.
Yeah.
But everything I was working on, and I went into it with a business plan written.
Yeah, you already.
And they wanted us to do this, and they're like, your business plan is not specific enough. And I'm like, but I'm already doing every aspect of this.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to cut things out of this because you think it needs to be more specific.
Yeah.
And you think that I'm painting with too broad of a brush and trying to do too many things. I'm already doing them.
Yeah.
So it was really weird and frustrating for me now that I've formally done some stuff and started going down this road and rewritten my business plan.
You're realizing how compartmentalized each of these things are.
Well, I'm telling you that maybe they're different businesses. That's what they should have told me.
Yes.
is that maybe these should be separate business plans and treated as separate entities. Even if you're not technically a separate LLC, filing a DBA and operating as this over here,
Yeah.
you can still keep everything separate. But like, you need to treat each entity
As it's,
adequately, because if you read my old business plan, it's like, well, I do this and I do this and we do this and I do this and this, I do this under this name, I do this under this name. And then the next section is like, what the heck am I even, what does this section relate to?
yeah.
And it'll be very specific about one thing and kind of skip over some of the others.
Yeah.
Whereas in a fully fledged out business plan, I should have broken them apart
Yeah.
and said, for this, I'm going to do
For that.
another business plan. For this,
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
And what it came down to for me was engineering work, BMX, streaming, and media. Just media in general, because podcast, streaming, video production, anything but media.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, thinking about it with a fresh mindset, I see what the issue was.
Yeah.
And it's why it crippled me from doing anything.
Yeah. It's for people who like this might be going over their heads because they don't quite understand what all you're up to, as you've only referenced it.
Yep.
Go to Sheets. You know how they have a separate register for beer and alcohol? That's a separate entity. They are
It's
not
a
allowed.
restaurant.
Yeah, they are not allowed to sell gas at the same place that they sell beer and everything. That's why you can't go to that register and tell them $20 on two or whatever. That's a separate entity. It's a separate register because they file it all separately.
Mm-hmm.
It's all compartmentalized. What Andy's getting at is everything that I want to do and everything that he's doing needs to be, all right, the plant shop, own register, own accounts. Bike shop, own register, own accounts.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but as far as the paperwork goes, keep it that separate, almost.
Yeah, I mean, if not, at the end of every week or day or whatever, you're going to have to reconcile.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to go through all of your transactions and accounts. Your easiest way, if you're going to do that, is start out day one with something like a QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Where you can post it to accounts. So you can run your till all day long, and your credit card sales and your cash sales and checks and whatever else.
Yeah.
And they all go to separate accounts.
Yeah. Just do it all from the one.
And it's all already reconciled.
Yeah.
That's going to be what makes sense.
Yeah.
That's not something that I would necessarily recommend to someone starting a shop on day one, because it's an expense that you don't need to have when you could operate out of Excel.
Yeah.
Or a paper logbook.
Yeah. At that point, when you're first starting out, number one, minimize. You don't want to overload yourself unless you've already been doing it and it's not an overloading factor. That's why I almost said
Or if you're proficient at it.
Yeah.
If you're like a QuickBooks whiz,
yeah.
and you already know it really well, then it's going to be more of a pain in the butt for you to do it on paper than it would be to use what you're already familiar with. Okay, done.
That's why I said, like, well, number one, like as I said, like the shop in general, as far as like bike, skate, apparel, accessories, whatever, that's the initial. Everything else is supplementary after that. But unless I learned QuickBooks day one, the old school way of doing it before QuickBooks was even a thing would literally just be like, okay, the plant register over there, like the plant counter, like for the stems part, own register, and just reconcile it all on paper at the end of the day. That's the old school way of doing it. Now we have QuickBooks, and I think with Squarespace, you can kind of split things up too.
Yeah, you should be able to. I mean, your SKU would tell you what
Yeah, what was what?
What was what? Because I think you'd even be allocating the inventory to different stuff.
Yeah.
But like from a service standpoint, truing a wheel and trimming a plant are services under different things, but they're not necessarily SKU driven.
Yeah.
Although you could assign a SKU for something simple.
Yeah.
They're free.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not going to try to overload it. I know it sounds like I want to do a lot, but I know I need to, especially myself. I know myself, and I know I need to build it up slow. Do what I know I can do because I did it when I was a fucking preteen.
Yeah.
And then build off of that. And that's the plan. And the reason why I'm so happy Reagan's going for accounting and business management is, okay, I already had the business management and like entry-level accounting on my resume, kind of.
Yeah.
With running that original one. Do I like doing it? No. Do I have the time to allocate to doing that and running the business? No.
Well, and then the big question, and I think I know where your answer is going to be, but like, are you going to quit your job to do it?
Yes. Yeah, but that's do it right. Save up the money. Apply for any grants that you can because they will give you money to just start a business. Apply to any grants that I can. Save up as much money as I can. Have a safety net that's separate from what I'm doing. And do it properly.
So I would ask, why not transition in not full time? You know, because you're out early for what it's worth. You're done by like 3 most days. I know that that's very challenging with mandatory overtime.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be a thing, but it is.
Yep. Yeah, I found out the other day when I already had my boots off that I had to stay another 2 hours. So
that could be challenging operating a conventional storefront.
Yes, but a side hustle, which is okay. I kind of skipped over this part, but what I am doing right now already to work towards this, the 3D printing, the screen printing, getting a vinyl card to make screen printing easier. Haven't gotten that yet. And also do stickers and signs and whatever. That's all stuff I'm doing after work.
Yep.
I've got a print for a Thundercats Thunder Tank I'm working on.
No, you don't.
No, I found the right one. You don't. I found the right one that's licensed correctly.
Okay.
It's licensed in a way where it's for personal use.
Yeah.
But it's a proof of concept of what I can do.
Right.
So that's more so resume building. And it might end up being a gift for Christmas.
See, and that is a gray area for, yes, you printed it for yourself, but to advertise capability is...
I'm not going to show off the whole thing. I'm going to show off what changes I made to the program in Blender. Super zoomed in. Ignore that I said Thunder Tank, but that's what, when you see something super zoomed in, that's what it's on. And it's licensed properly that allows me to mess with it.
Right.
As long as I shout them out. Which you haven't seen yet, so I'm not shouting them out.
Perfect.
So, yeah, that was the Thingiverse license for that one. But no, yeah, little stuff like that, the shirts and apparel and whatnot. That's all. And if I can get bike shop, like little repairs here and there, I've been kind of poking my head around the local bike areas like OTB and then trying to go on some of the rides and everything. So I really, what I need to do is make some business cards.
Well, file your LLC because your LLC may already be taken,
Yes.
but you could name your LLC Farts and Poop LLC and then file a DBA for
Yeah.
stems and sprockets.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
I knew that.
Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I knew that. Actually, it was funny. I was going to pull up that search, but then I forgot my phone
maybe
got stolen.
Farts and Poops LLC is the way to go. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be really funny to name it anything, but then if you have to go for a business loan or whatever for startup costs,
You can file under your DBA.
True.
Actually, no.
No, I was about to
Most of
say.
it you have to put both on there.
Yeah, I was about to say, doesn't it have both? Farts and poops, stems and sprockets, huh?
Like, but that was taken, so I was upset.
But no.
But anyway, just file it because you don't have to do anything with it.
Yeah.
But any of your prep work, like you said, you're acquiring tools and you're getting stuff done. If you're gonna upgrade your 3D printer already,
Oh, I didn't upgrade. I'm just.
well, if you're gonna file it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to make, do these little side jobs on the side and keep working the full time because, like you said, I work 6 to 2.
Yeah.
Sometimes 5 to 3, sometimes 4 to 3, whatever. But that leaves me plenty of time, especially if I meal prepped on Sunday, like I always try to do, meal prep for the whole week. And then just throw it in the microwave, start working on whatever I'm working on. So it leaves me plenty of time to get these things done. And now that life's starting to calm down after moving and after dealing with health issues, and the overtime's actually kind of chilled a little bit. It's not nearly as bad as last year.
Just wait.
Well, we got a new guy who's kind of soaking it all up, but he doesn't know as much as I can get him started. Basically, as long as I put him in the right direction. For once, we get a competent guy in to do general labor, so that's nice. But yeah, he's kind of soaking it up. He's actually at the same amount of overtime that I was at last year, and he only started 6 months ago.
Hey, you know what? Good.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, is some people want it and other people don't, and the mandatory overtime is where it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love extra money, but if I can make more at home.
Yeah. I know it.
That's kind of where I'm at. So.
Well, I think that's an interesting start to, obviously that leads into something in the future.
Yeah.
Follow-ups and like even, documenting the process. I could have done a slightly better job. At some point, I'll go into it further.
Yeah. I mean, you have a backlog that if you really felt like sitting down with, you could edit. But like we talked that was the last podcast, right? Where you were talking about having to go back and edit like the car podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's going to be hell to go back through and do all that again. But re-edit it down. You have years worth of content that you can make a good advertisement out of. And then do a voiceover.
Yeah. Well, or even to go back through and re-listen and really tighten up the timeline.
Yeah.
To be like this.
Yeah.
Could be interesting because a lot of stuff happens. Some of the earlier episodes where I wasn't putting a number on them did not get uploaded in the order they were recorded.
Yeah.
And some of that was by design. That's why I was not numbering them and why I was putting a separate intro outro on them, because it allowed, hey, this thing's happening right now. Like, okay, well, I can cut your episode in. I can give it a quick little intro outro and I can launch it tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that stuff is just not happening anymore. I'm not in the scene enough for that to happen anymore.
Yeah.
which is fine.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same spot. Like after the injuries, it took me a while to get back on it. And then right when I started feeling good again, the wheel mill closed. And it's like, I haven't ridden jumps in forever. Jumps are like the thing that I do, to the point where I go down the trails now and I'm intimidated. I'm like, this used to be my spot. Like, what am I doing here? Like, not this specific set, but like the Buffalo, even Union Trails, I only sat on circle set the whole time.
Yeah.
I was intimidated. Like, I wasn't used to it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, at Union Trails, at that jam, they've built those trails up from what you were used to there, too. I mean, they're not the same trails you used to go to.
That is fair, but still, I mean...
I don't think there was anything there that was like, oh, man, I don't think I can ride that.
Yeah, no. Just more like, do I really feel like pushing it that hard? Well, there was that one set that they were hitting on at the end. The bigger one that's only like 2 jumps.
Yeah.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
I probably would have when I was like 15, but now, no.
Well, or, you know, if you were down there every week and you're riding all the other stuff good, like, they just don't feel as big when you're used to it.
Yeah.
And I haven't really ridden at all in a long time. Like, I'm going to say when I broke my ankle on that stupid fakie foot jam whip.
Yeah.
That was a big turning point in my riding for a long time. Like, I would say 3 years, I didn't really push myself. I still rode a lot, but it was like,
Yeah.
And then there was one defining moment that was really like, okay, I want this and I want it bad again.
Yeah.
Was this pole jam up and over 2 chains.
You were telling me about that a long time ago.
I have the clips on Instagram somewhere.
Yeah.
If I don't suck, I'll put it in the video, but it's going to be so buried, no one's going to care anyway.
Yeah.
So pole jam up and over these 2 chains, and like at this point, I'd only been piddling around for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this one is really like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Because it was in an I-beam.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was kind of twisted. So your tire dragged the whole way up it. You're in this tight little pocket. And you got to go up and over because if you come off early, you're hosed.
Yeah.
So, like, even staring that down and kind of like going up it and coming down fakie on it, like, it was long enough to go up it 2 tires to fakie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want this. Like, I'm tired of just not really riding.
Yeah.
So after I landed that was when we were like, all right, let's start filming for another project. And like that started driving the GrindWorks DVD.
Yeah.
That never happened.
Yeah.
But regardless, like that was a big motivating factor. And I was riding on that until 2020. Late 2019, I was really busy working on the house.
Yeah.
Like the deck and different stuff like that. And I wanted to get a ramp in the backyard and did some stuff there. Plus, we already had riders, so I was busy doing dad stuff. And then 2020.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. Insta jams.
Was like, the GrindWorks that existed died right there.
Yeah.
The inability to get products.
Yeah.
And then having to reimagine what we did from being like a group that went out and did all this stuff and wrote and posted stuff together, for that to all of a sudden be really weird and like not cool.
Yeah.
And not only that, like I wasn't that worried about that, but also I had a 2-year-old at home.
Yeah, so you like really couldn't risk it.
Like even if I am not worried about it, like is it fair?
Yeah.
To not worry about it?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. So, okay. So, like, I'm not going out and riding. I'm just kind of downloading and reposting everyone else's stuff. I can't do face-to-face podcast interviews. And that's just, like, I think I carried through 2020 pretty good. We did the Instajam stuff that really gave an artificial sense of how much content I could put out.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Buffalo crew.
And then
too.
I think right after that is when everything switched over to Reels.
Yes. Yeah.
So all the Instagram downloaders got a lot weirder and harder to use, and
yeah, you had
Reels
to like
don't
mention...
repost the same, and
yeah, you had to collab with them instead.
That's newer.
Oh, is it? I never even paid attention.
Yeah, that didn't really exist for a little while.
Okay.
That helps.
Yeah.
But only kind of. So I just stopped. I was like, I'm so burned out on this. And at that point, I knew that I was moving up to New York soon. Like, yeah. But I had kept that under wraps, so I was just kind of dwindling off until the jam.
Yeah, and then with the restrictions of that, when we did have real jams, it was like...
Well, 2020 Street Jam was the, like, I'm done kind of. You know, Josh, take it over, whatever.
Yeah.
And then...
And the restrictions with all that, too, that, like, scared people away, because we were like, just have it in your pocket in case cops show up. And everyone's like, if I have to have it, I'm not showing up. Masks, that is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, I know. Well, and there were so many things working against it.
Yeah. Start to finish that year was just...
And it, like, and then when I moved and everything went into storage.
Yeah. Because your stuff was in storage for what, a year and a half?
2 years? But I'm going to look at the GrindWorks Instagram right now.
I bet you if you went back 15 posts, you're back in 2020.
That's essentially what I'm... No, it's not that bad, but...
Oh, for me it is. For me it totally is.
Let's see. Let's see here. We were... That's a wheel mill post. That might be the last wheel mill post. August 30th, 2021. James and Andy spent an entire session getting weird at the wheel mill.
Oh, I actually have more posts than I thought, but half of them are axe throwing and knife throwing.
Okay, we're going to say that we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Actually, I can count 1, 2, 3.
30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35,
Everyone loved
36,
counting simulator.
37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Nice. 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86.
I got 99 posts
87,
between now and 2020.
89, 90, 91, 92. 92 posts since late 2021 when I moved back. From an account that used to post at least 3 posts a day.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
fell off is an understatement.
Yeah, really. I mean, 3 posts a day, so 30 days, really, pretty much, worth of content in.
Yeah, it's like not, more or less 900 posts a year.
Yeah. And you said you had 99, so basically 92, so less than 30 days basically worth of posts from
and
your height.
That was at peak. Yeah, I was not doing that super consistent the entire life cycle.
Yeah.
But some posts have been deleted by Instagram. Thank you.
Some of them have been turned just straight into still photos, even though they didn't have music added.
3,712 posts current.
Have you noticed that one with Instagram?
Yeah, it's weird.
What the hell? It's like, digital media on social media.
I mean, I've fallen off. It is what it is, but
I mean, it's different because, well, they don't know what you have coming up. That's not necessarily 100% or even 50% related to BMX, but it's something coming up. And also, I mean, you have a family. He's getting to that age where it's like, okay, now you have school. You have more responsibilities than just changing diapers. And then you have a job that requires you to travel randomly across the country.
I've traveled more in the first 3 months of this year than I've ever traveled probably in total before it.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because you were traveling a lot like last year, I feel like.
Yeah, but it was like periodic. Like I'd go 3 days and then not travel again for a month and a half.
Okay.
As opposed to like 2 consecutive weeks.
Yeah.
And then to get back for 3 days and turn around and fly out somewhere again.
Yeah.
I was diamond status by like April, so.
I still, if I log on to Hilton Honors, I still have diamond status from 2018 and 19.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you held on to it. I thought you had to like upkeep it.
So depending on how much you had, you'll get a lifetime diamond status.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
But, I had a little bit of tunnel vision for that one earlier this year because I just kind of wanted it at some point and I wasn't paying for it.
Yeah.
But like, you get tunnel vision to like, I'm going to stay at this hotel just because I get one step closer to diamond status instead of stay at the cheaper one or the more convenient one.
Yeah.
But
DG
Hilton tends to be the more convenient one everywhere you go.
Yeah. You get out into the Midwest, like Minnesota or the Dakotas, sometimes it's a red roof.
Yeah, but red roof starts to get into the like, some of them are great.
Yeah, and
some of them are no.
Yes. But unfortunately...
And you don't know that till you're there checking in.
There were a couple trips that I went on, though, that was like, okay, the nearest Hilton property was 45 minutes away from the job site.
Yep.
And my other options were a Days Inn, not a Days Inn and Suites, a Days Inn.
Nights in.
Yeah, Nights Inn. I forgot about that. And Red Wolf.
$39.99 a night, James. How can you forget about Nights in?
We stayed at one, and it was awful. We left. Bed bugs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to disparage them on here. I don't care. That was a rough one. And then we went to a Days Inn, not a Days Inn and Suite after that, and there was a tick on the wall. Like, what the fuck? Bugs to more bugs.
Yeah, we've stayed in some sketchy ones. I am not super. I like to think I'm not super picky about a lot of things. But hotels are one of those ones where it's like there's kind of a minimum standard.
Yeah.
Red Roof is kind of my minimum standard.
Yeah.
But I've upgraded it to like a Hampton Inn is my minimum standard.
Yeah.
Unless I know it's a good Red Roof.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even what is a good hotel? Because like sometimes the rooms are great and everything there is great, but just the area you're in. Like when we would go down to Port Richey, Florida, stay at that Homewood Suites.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing hotel. You got your own room, and then there was a kitchen attached to it, and they had free dinner Monday through Thursday. But you walk outside, and the prostitutes were trying to follow you into your room, and you'd have to walk up to the counter and be like, "Hey, get rid of her, please. Don't let her follow me to my room."
Yeah.
That happened with Matt Double. We were walking back from a restaurant, and one just started
totally
following.
wanted her to follow to the room.
No, I have it on video. We're just like, what is she doing? You can hear him like, what is she doing? Where is she coming up? And she's like, so what? Both at the same time? What are you trying to do? Like, neither.
No. We're trying to get you to leave, thanks.
Yeah. I have it on video, me walking up and to the counter, and guy's like, how can I help you? I'm like, this lady just followed us back, and he's like, ma'am, I've asked you to not bother our guests. So, my God, she was known.
Oh yeah, well, they're all known.
Yeah.
Of course they're known.
But yeah, Red Roof is minimum standard. It's so hard to tell. It really is nowadays. I've even seen.
Yeah, well, and I'm saying that I think it's mostly because of price. Like,
yes,
paying at least $100 a night weeds out a lot of sketchy folk.
Yes.
And a lot of dirty folk.
Yeah. Yeah, where the bed bugs come from, because they don't just appear magically at these hotels when they get built.
Nope, they don't. They get brought in.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing is a lot of those other hotels or motels offer long-term lodging. And if they offer long-term lodging,
people are living there.
Well, right, but it's low-income housing.
Yeah.
You're renting a room in low-income housing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's all subsidized.
Yeah.
And maybe that's fine. That's not where I would like to stay.
Yeah.
And I will recognize that is a privileged statement.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree.
But I work for my money, and I choose where to spend it.
Yeah. It was really nice when the company card covered it. Now I'm a little bit like, all right, Hampton Inn. But Hampton Inn.
Yeah, it's hard to go back from that after you've had that as a standard for a long time. And we've had some good luck in the semi-recent future. Like if you're going out for a longer period somewhere, or you've got a group to do Airbnb or something. Yeah. But there's so many weird baked in little fees and traps and gotchas and like,
well,
I don't like it myself. I've had good luck when other people have booked them, but like I also think that it's because you're going with 6 or 7 different people.
Yeah.
So you're willing to pay for an expensive one because it breaks down across 7 people on business expenses as less than 7 hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Okay, totally fair.
Yeah.
You got a nice one, but it wasn't that bad.
We actually just recently, I'm more of a fan of hotels than Airbnbs, primarily because of the cost.
Yeah, cost. There's no surprise
Cameras.
fees.
Cameras are a thing. They had a camera over the
I
hot
don't-
tub at the one.
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't personally care, but it's weird. You got a stink bug on your other side. Up here, up on your shoulder. There you go. Oh, nope, he's floating around. I think he just fell in your pocket. This is a mess. Oh, there he is.
He's there. That's a thing in PA that we have them in New York, but
not as bad.
yeah, not as bad. I think I hurt him. That's okay. I'll hurt you more. Yeah,
Well, we just had an issue with an Airbnb in Columbus. Beautiful place. They put a lot of work into it, and they did refund us. But whoever they had stay last brought bed bugs with them, and it wasn't in our bed, but we went with my mother-in-law and one sister-in-law, and it was in the mother-in-law's bed.
We're just gonna squish this stink bug with the other chair.
With the other chair into the carpet.
Yep.
Nice. But yeah.
It's fine. It's not the only stink bug you'll find in the carpet.
Yeah.
There's one behind you over there too.
Nice.
That one's not squished.
He's just stuck.
He's just dead upside down.
Yeah. But no, they gave us a refund, but Airbnb, the corporation, takes a cut too, obviously, from the people that rent out the place. So we got a full refund of what the owner of the home made.
Which is not as much as you'd think it is.
No, it was like not even 2/3.
Yeah, no.
It's more like
Airbnb,
3/5.
The corporation is making bank.
Yeah, it was more like 3/5. Like it was just past a half.
Yeah, I just don't like it. I mean, you don't get the breakfast situation. You don't get...
Yeah.
Getting in and out can be awkward.
Yeah.
I don't like that you don't even know where it is exactly until you show up, or like right before you're supposed to show up. Like,
they're starting
here's your address.
give you that more now. Like once you get approved for it, they give you the exact address. But it's like, why not give me the address before?
Yeah, well,
so I can look at the area.
Well, right. That's what I would want too, but they don't want to do that for
breaking and entering and whatever.
Breaking and entering, squatting. What about other people that might be staying there?
Yeah.
Stalking the owners, looking up who they are, like all sorts of crazy people things.
At least give me a neighborhood, like a 5-mile radius. You know?
Yes, that would be fair. Or a street name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one.
But yeah, I mean, you can't really say yes, you've dropped off in a sense, but it's not like you lost interest.
No, I've never lost interest in it. And I want more things to happen. I really hope one of the upcoming episodes is announcing a shirt drop.
Okay. Nice.
Or maybe a shirt pre-order. I don't know which way I want to do it yet, because it'll be hoodies. And hoodies can be expensive to just pick random sizes and no one wants them.
I would say do a pre-order, especially since you haven't been active. I know, but since you haven't been active, you can't just go ahead and order it and then sit on it. Since you haven't been active, you need to make sure that the clientele is still there.
The clientele are still there. Right, clientele listeners? Yeah, I just don't like doing it that way, but I think it's the right answer with a sweatshirt drop.
Yeah, t-shirts are typically cheaper.
Yeah. Well, and I have the vinyl cutter. I just have, like, I don't like heat press shirts.
Oh, I hate heat press. But what my
But for
thought is-
one-offs,
for one-off is cool, but my thought with the vinyl cutter is cut out the design, stick it on a screen print, like a screen, silk screen. And then you run so cut out the negative of your design.
I see what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
You may as well look at maybe, like, I don't think it's that difficult to burn screens.
Yeah. I mean, I've
You'd
been
have
doing
to
it.
build frames, but you're a welder. Like, it makes it super easy for you to do it.
Yeah.
You can take scrap tube and build yourself some press frames.
Yeah, I know. It would be pretty easy to just burn it real quick, but also the ease of just vinyl cut, peel and stick.
You're neglecting weeding.
Oh, well, I'm not thinking of doing anything super detailed.
That doesn't even matter. It's such a sucky process.
It's just a couple letters or one like little like stick figure guy, man.
If I never have to weed vinyl again, I'd be happy.
It's a big shirt. The letters are going to be at least this big. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, I know. I say that also knowing that I've got some potential vinyl cut projects coming up.
Fun.
But I don't know. We'll see. Because I would like to. Maybe I'll heat press like a sample of the shirt
Yeah.
so that I can show one,
Yeah.
but then actually get them printed. Because it's a cool logo, I promise. I'm not sharing it till it's done.
Is it the one that I might have seen recently? Okay.
Did I show you the final one
No, I
on
don't
Saturday?
No, yeah, no, definitely not. You haven't shown me.
I'll show you the final one.
Okay.
Shout out to Matt Smith for hooking it up, finishing it.
Nice. Nice. Speaking of that, I have like a more in-depth, you know how his Different Spokes podcast is? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's real good. That's real good.
It's a hoodie shirt.
Yeah,
For sure.
For sure. But yeah, you know how Matt's Different Spokes podcast is? It's more of like a in-depth, like interview, like how did you get fully started and everything. And we've been talking, and I sent him over something. I know he's been busy, so I'm not like pushing it.
Yep.
But I sent him over like, hey, I have an outline. It is too long for me to copy and paste it into Instagram messages. What's your email?
Yeah.
That message is still floating because he's been busy. So I'm just waiting for him to open that up. Hopefully he'll listen to this in like 3-4 weeks whenever you post it. And hopefully he'll already have gotten back to it by then. But if not, it'll be really funny if I hear from him in 5 weeks.
Yeah. That will be funny. Like, oh, dude, I'm sorry.
I no hard feelings at all. I get it. People are busy, but it would just be really funny if it works out that way. I'm kind of hoping it does, honestly. It'd be great.
For your sake, I'm going to say we should kind of push towards wrapping. I know you start work pretty early and it's 9:30.
Yeah.
And you've got almost an hour drive to get home.
It's not almost an hour, is
30.
it? It's about probably.
To get to the city from here is
Yeah.
about 45 to 50.
Yeah, you're right, because I forgot how far away we were from 28 right now.
Yeah, you're 10 minutes at least.
So there's an accident on 28 too, so it looks like I'm better actually going
Going
the
down
long way.
to Delmont.
Delmont to the Parkway.
Yeah, you're going to have an hour to get home, roughly.
It's saying 45 minutes, but
Okay.
yeah, still, I mean, that's an hour.
So, I mean, that's a pretty good up and recap as to where you're at right now and kind of changes in life. So
Yeah, I mean, injuries, loss of bicycle confidence, but coming back slowly for that, and then plans for the future for both me and my wife.
I'm thinking that I started on that long tangent when we were talking about that, about injuries, and
Hey,
because
no.
I started with the ankle break and I never finished the point.
Oh, yeah. You want to wrap that up real quick, or just leave
I
it?
guess so. Yeah, we'll cut back to that. So because
Will we cut back to it?
No, it's gonna be right now. But because we were saying it's like I got back motivated with that pole jam up and over those chains.
Got filming.
Yeah.
And then the world went to shit.
Yeah, and then we hung out on that one for too long and kind of got lost on that tangent.
Yes.
And then, up to present day, it was the counting 92 posts. That's where we got lost in the weeds.
Jesus Christ.
Up to present day, I mean, it's just been like kind of keeping the pace, but ever since 2020, I feel like, I think I was saying every session in 2021 was like
relearn.
It was more like trying not to lose any more tricks that day.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. We had that conversation all through 2021.
And then as soon as I moved away, and I kind of just knew it was coming, but like I had no intentions to like travel to ride that much.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't moving back into anything. And I was in the pity me, my scene sucks mode.
Yeah.
Which I have recently come back out of.
Yeah.
And am trying to push more into the mindset of like, make it better.
Yes.
Which is why we did so many jams this year and why we pushed kind of hard. But did I push hard? In the last 4 years, there's 92 posts. Did I really push hard?
I mean, you got a lot of communities
do a good job.
moving together.
I didn't do a good job of promoting that.
To be fair, neither did the crews.
No, I'll say that too, but like, what are they going to do? What post are they going to share? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it was just
I didn't go out and ride and promote anything. Like, I had nothing.
It was just sharing the same poster pretty much with lines crossed off as they came up.
Oh, yeah. Well, that mess. Scheduling same days as other people makes them upset. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's a bummer because as we kind of talked about in the last one, our algorithm only shows us so much. Sorry we didn't see your jam. Which, like, genuinely, I'm not trying to say that sarcastically.
Yeah.
Like, the algorithm only goes so far.
Not doing anything to slight anyone.
Yeah. Like, the algorithm only goes so far, and it's a bummer. Wish you would have seen it. Because, like, I was promoting it, too, and I had somebody reach out to me. I'm like, dude, I'm just sharing the post, but, like, I'll reach out and, like, let people know.
Oh, man. You should know how annoyed they were when I didn't fix it immediately. When I acknowledged that there was an issue and it wasn't already fixed at that point because I was on the road and didn't have my computer with me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll fix it, but like you're going to wait for me to fix it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't even know that story. I just knew about the other one where somebody was like, oh man, we have jams the same day. I'm like, I'm not involved.
They were very upset that I didn't fix it within like 10 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think I was on the road so long, it took me like a week to get to it. And it was like numerous messages. And in that time period is when our BMX shared it.
Oh.
And then it was like, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, okay, that's a bummer.
But anyway, I mean, even the motivation has kind of fallen off. That's what sucks. Like,
yeah,
not the motivation to do cool things. that I feel like has been held hostage by the pricing situation, and I think we've talked about it on here at least at a like passing conversation level, but the exploring the option of just having them made overseas because it still facilitates doing cool things.
Yeah.
As opposed to like it either dies right now.
Yeah. Because
or we find a different way to do it.
Yeah, because what is it, like $50 a peg if you were trying to do it like right now?
The last price I had was $21.50.
Yeah.
Unpackaged.
Yeah.
So at $21.50, they come in oily in a box.
Yeah.
I have to wipe them down, print toppers.
Yeah.
Cut and seal polytube because it's on a 300-foot roll.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have to cut them all the length and heat seal it. And then put the pegs in and staple.
Yeah.
And then, it's not a ton of time. Oh, and put the for rectal use only sticker on the
You don't have to do that part, but it's pretty good.
I feel like it's a key component. And it costs about $0.01 a package.
Yeah, but how much time you got in peel and stick?
It doesn't matter. I mean, technically, I could redo the package
I was about to say,
to have it printed right on there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the same feel if it's printed as opposed to having a sticker that was placed on there.
That is fair. All right.
Like, there's layers to the packaging. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm waiting to see. Like, I've come up with a new drawing for essentially it's the street light, but I'm not calling it that.
Okay.
Because I want it to be very clear that the street light is made in the USA.
Gotcha.
This will be an equivalent variant.
Equivalent Senko chromoly. No.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, until I see what pricing is.
Yeah.
But if I could get them back to where I can sell them. Okay. If I had raised my prices all along,
Yeah.
like I should have, instead of basically do these for free
Yeah.
for the last 5-6 years,
Yeah.
they would have been $25 a piece.
Yeah.
And I would hope that I could get them back to $20 for an overseas variant.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up doing these cheaper because an overseas peg has to be cheaper than the US variant.
Yeah.
What I don't know is what that number is because I don't know what they're going to cost me. But I've put some RFQs out there and I'm waiting to find out. But I don't think that my customers care that much. It's not the USA made thing that they care about.
No. Yeah.
I'll say what I've said for years. No one that's recently grown up riding has ever had a bad bike.
Yeah. And also,
Like,
you and I both work in
we
USA
had bad bikes.
Yeah. And you and I both work in USA manufacturing. You know, I'm not saying my current job, but at a different one, I have heard, can't see that from the highway because it was close to tolerance. It was still out of tolerance. Ship it anyway.
Yep. I've heard a lot. I've seen a lot. I've rejected a lot. And, just because it says made in the USA doesn't mean it was good.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're trying to push forward, trying to figure out what GrindWorks is.
Fun.
what it's going to be, maybe, is the right word, because like we were talking about earlier in the conversation, I mean, GrindWorks is like a variety of entities. There's the media standpoint, and there's the actual BMX products, and then there's the event side. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it could exist purely as a promoter.
Yeah.
So, an event organizer, but what it is going to be is kind of up in the air right now. It also historically was a skate park, the Ice House.
Man, I miss the Ice House. I only went twice. It's fun.
Just when you really start breaking it down, it's so crazy how much there was.
Yeah.
There is, to so many layers. But anyway, I feel like I hijacked a part of this conversation, but it all ties together.
Yeah, it really all does.
And talked circles around not talking about my thing fully, which is fun.
There's a name somewhere in there. You might have 10 points to the first
I mentioned
person.
it. Yeah. I mentioned it.
10 points to Gryffindor for the first person who shouts it out and emails. Not even DMs, emails Andy.
It's not even that. It's posted on my personal Instagram, I think.
Oh, is it really? Oh, it is. I remember seeing that. I think I shared it to somebody.
I tagged it, right? I didn't post the logo or anything, but I definitely tagged it. About 7 posts ago. Yeah. Yep. So 7 posts ago on my personal Instagram, that is tagged.
On your personal Instagram that still has GrindWorks in the name.
Yeah. Well, and see, that is where the business plan conversation got very hairy.
Yes.
Because my name is now a media personality. If you really take it for...
Yeah, we were talking about that.
This is a media personality.
Yeah.
This, in the streaming sense, is a media personality.
What's your catchphrase? What's your streaming catchphrase?
Oops. No, all right. It might be, that's a tree.
Want to see me do a flip? It's late game, don't.
I would say it's from Lonely Mountains Downhill.
Yeah.
And every time I tried to go for 5 minutes, I would hit a tree.
Yeah.
And a different one every single time. That's a tree. That's a tree. That's a tree. That was a tree. That's a rock. That's a tree.
No, my favorite was when we first started playing PUBG together. And you're on a motorcycle. And you're like, want to see me do a flip? There's like 10 people remaining.
No!
Dead.
So fun. Or no. On SnowRunner. SnowRunner will do that to you.
Yeah, it will. Flying off a mountain. But yes, your personality, and this is a personality for me too, apparently, because I could show up so many times. Am I a guest star?
Yeah, I would say at this point you might be deemed like a GrindWorks personality. Guest star, if that's what you prefer the term.
I don't know what.
I don't feel like it seems really weird to even say it, but when you're talking about like a business standpoint, it's a personality. It's a more or less a trademark name.
Yeah.
To some degree, which is weird.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you like start to get into with some of the business stuff is like, are you using it as like to present yourself differently? Like like if you start a business to be James Yusczyk, the personality, but like that doesn't shield you if you're doing shady stuff as James Yusczyk.
Yeah.
But like if you're using it because you've got a following and some other stuff, like it gets really weird with the personality thing. I don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't think that I've talked to anyone
That fully.
from a legal or tax sense that actually understands that world well.
Yeah.
I think it's a very specific accountant and stuff that would be like a streamer's accountant.
Yeah.
Or a YouTube channel's accountant, because you have to understand that.
Yeah.
And like the politics of it and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's even going, but it's a thing.
It's a thing that we're going to have to figure out, you sooner than I.
Kinda. I mean, I would recommend starting, like, keep your business plan, let it evolve as you work your thing out. The sooner you create one, even if you don't launch, is better.
Yeah.
The one that I need to do a better job of, we started talking articles of organization, all that stuff filed with the state. The one that you don't need to file, but you have to get a bank account and stuff, is not the business plan, but the operating agreement, which feels weird to have as a sole member LLC.
Yeah.
Like my operating agreement is me and I agree to operate.
Yeah.
It sets up rules for bringing people on.
Okay.
It sets up what happens if you decide to dissolve the company. It sets up how you choose to pay yourself.
Okay.
It sets up ownership of assets. And you can put different membership classes in there. So like if I wanted to have someone else come on as a member, maybe they were going to give me $100,000 to buy in.
Yeah.
I can give them 20% or 100% ownership. You can't do 100.
Yeah.
You could do like 80% ownership, quote unquote, with 0 vote.
Oh yeah.
On operations. In which case it would change the management structure to manager managed instead of member managed. Because a member managed LLC is if every member of the LLC
has a vote.
Is a manager.
Yeah.
And a manager managed is if either not all or other people other than members manage the company.
Got ya.
Like you don't need a board of directors.
Yeah.
As an LLC. But you could.
Yeah.
Anyway, for your sake, we need to call it. We went about an extra 20 minutes, I think, from where we said that.
Yeah.
But that's right. Not too bad for me.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, by the time we finish this up, I take a leak and get in the car, it'll be 10. So I can manage.
All right. Should we record your leak or should we
No, that's good. Do we re-shout out everything? Because I know we just did
this
the last
is a totally different episode.
Yeah.
So start with you.
So on...
If you want, follow us.
On Instagram, it's James Yusczyk, YUSCZYK, no dots or anything like that. TikTok, it's Jim Jam BMX. I think Twitter and everything like that is all the same as well, other than Threads, which that's obviously the same as your Instagram name.
Do people use Threads?
I go on it, but it just seems to be only political stuff is all I get.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I barely like Twitter. I don't need another one.
Yeah.
X.
No, it's Twitter.
X. Okay. Then on the GrindWorks side, really, I don't want to shout out anything other than the Instagram, which you may or may not already follow, but it's at grindworks_BMX. And your favorite podcast platforms. Until next time.